Alright, full-time executive game back. Today I'm going to be showing you 4 more armor stand build hacks, and the first one is going to be how to use glass with an armor stand, and the second one's how to use a player head with an armor stand. The third one's going to be how to use invisibility paired with some positioning with an armor stand, and the fourth one, of course, you'll have to wait till the end of the video to see what that one is. So let's get started. Alright guys, so the first one's going to be how to use glass with an armor stand. So how this kind of works is basically, of course, you build up. So I'm just gonna, for example, build up 2. It could be more, obviously. And then you place a glass pane down. And then you probably want to get off of that. So then you can actually place the armor stand down. And then you place the armor stand down. And there we go. So basically what happens is, when you put an armor stand, of course, the glass pane, it's very hard to see. So it kind of creates the illusion that that player is in the air and like is in midair action. You know, usually like if you want in a fighting sequence or something like that, it's very good for midair action. Obviously, you can sneak and change position by hitting the button. When you sneak, you'll hit the button and it will change the armor stand's position. It'll even be more convincing. But anyways, let's move on to the next one. Alright guys, so the next one is how to use an armor stand and a player head. So usually you wouldn't think to use a head, you know, wouldn't think to use a player head because you would think, you know, oh, is it gonna hold it in its hand like it holds everything else? But actually the crazy thing is that it acts like a piece of armor, so it acts like a helmet. So the crazy thing is, if you actually equip it, and when you equip it, the crazy thing is that it actually, you wear it like a helmet, and this way you can put armor on it, and you can actually have a player head, and it can actually look like a player, which is really interesting. But let's move on to the next one. Alright guys, so the next one is going to be how to use an armor stand with invisibility potions and positioning different items. So for example, obviously you're going to use something like a weapon or something like that, but for just this example, I'm just going to use an oak log, and then I'm going to use an armor stand, of course, and an invisibility potion, depending on how long you want that invisibility potion to last, of course, because it doesn't last forever, it only lasts a certain period of time. You know, if you want to last, if you know, you don't want it to last as long, you could pick the 3-minute one. If you want it to last longer, you could pick the 8-minute version. But anyways, what you're going to do is, of course, you're going to place your armor stand down, then you're going to just equip it, you know, with whatever that item is, and it will go into its hand, of course, and then after you do that, you're just going to splash it with the potion, and of course, like you've seen with my previous videos, if you don't want to obviously get splashed yourself, you're going to have to walk about 10 blocks away. And then you're going to splash it, and then this way it's just going to be floating. And the crazy thing is, of course, you can sneak, and this is what I was talking about before when I was talking about the armor stand in the glass, and you can sneak and you can put it in different positions. Instead of the equip button popping up, like normally, if you sneak, the pose button will pop up. And so basically what you want to do is you're going to want to hit that button. Of course, you got to position your cursor, right, to actually get on the armor stand that you can't see. When you do that, you can pose it. Obviously, you can see the different poses. We'll make that item in different positions, so you can make it in like this position that's more up toward the sky, this position that's toward the right, or you know, even higher, or to the left, or whatever. And you can make it in different positions, and especially from far away, it looks like that item's actually floating, which could be neat effects depending on what item you have, you know, it actually is. Or of course you can do it like what, you know, it looks like weapons moving in you know, mid-air and whatnot. But yeah, that's pretty cool. And I know you guys have been waiting for this all video. Basically, in the ender chest, it's really not an item, but I just wanted to I know it's not an item, but it's because I really wanted to show you guys what my builds look like. So instead of an item, I replaced this video with what actually my builds look like, you know, with all of these things that I showed you combined, like all these armor stand tricks combined, the actual builds I made. So let me show you. Alright guys, please like, subscribe, and share this channel with your friends. Until then, goodbye.